Alright, this is kind of exciting. This is the very first official video I've made for my new YouTube channel. In the spirit of practice and study, I've done some practice videos and made some samples to figure out what I liked and what I didn't like. But this is the very first official video, so thank you for joining me. Bear with me. This video is going to be a bit long, and there's going to be a story and a flow to it. So if you want to take a break, go get some tea or some water and join me. Let's talk about the origin of the book I wrote, Surfing the Urge, a novel way to cope with food cravings and quiet the food noise. An therapeutic coloring and activity book. It's kind of a long title. I guess I really had a lot to say. This is actually the proof copy. It's not even for resale. It's not even published yet. I am really just getting ahead of the game because my intention is that whoever you are, you will be utilizing this activity book and watching these YouTube videos and working alongside with me so we can work on things together. So my plan is to sort of launch everything at the same time. So before we get into the book, I want to tell you where this idea originated and like some backstory to put some context to it. So when I was younger, I was a fine arts major initially in college. I participated a lot in the fine arts in high school and just really have a passion for creativity. If you can't tell, we are in my art room of my house. Like, I have my sewing machine, and behind the camera I have my quilting design wall, and you can see art behind me and all the stuff. This is my hobby. This is what I do. And I'm not a stranger to creating just for the sake of fun, but also creating with an intention to heal or have some sort of therapeutic quality behind what I'm creating. And when I became physically ill about 4 years ago, it was a very intense struggle. And I ended up turning to creativity to process my feelings. I wanted a way to escape the way I was feeling physically, distract myself, and here's my kitty. This is Hestia. No, honey, not that camera. I wanted a way to escape, process my feelings in a safe container, so to speak, but also to explore what was going on for me on a deeper level, because I was so stuck on a day-to-day basis in a physiological fight or flight state with my health. I was, frustrated and not making traction. There was just a lot going on that wasn't working for me. And I knew I had to get unstuck from that place, both physically and psychologically, in one way or another. So I took to art, and I want to share the journey with you of where this all started. Okay, kitty. Okay, but you're in my way. This is my table. She thinks it's her stage. Okay, I love you, but you gotta go down. Stay, stay, stay. Okay. So, originally, to escape, it started with hummingbirds. I don't know why, that's just where my imagination went, so I went with it. So let's take a look at some of the initial art. And I'm going to take you through my own personal journey and show you how this led up to creating the activity book. So the very first, oh, you're back again, are ya? You're so persistent. Hestia, honey, I'm trying to open this. So the very first piece was this. So this one is oil pastels. I laid down some color and then put some black over it, and then used a fine sgraffito tool and etched out a hummingbird. That was really cool. I never finished this one. This one I was planning on doing something similar, except a hummingbird with like a really long tail I thought would be super pretty. Just never finished it. Next was this little guy, and I have to tell you, this one, I know it's pretty basic, and you know, he doesn't look necessarily like any hummingbird I've ever seen, but there was something about the way he was moving and the swiftness. It just felt to me like what I was experiencing, this intensity around me that I was trying to make my way through. I mean, this lovely little girl, she was going through the motions. You can see she's leaving her trail over here. Through all this resistance. I mean, so much of this was really about what I was experiencing emotionally, and me processing it and seeing it and honoring it, and just be willing to allow myself to feel it, which I think we just heard a bing on my phone. I don't know if you heard that, but yes, that is what it's about. Being willing to allow yourself to feel it. Okay, we're gonna move on. So then I think after that, there was a few other random hummingbird, little just rando things, me playing around with colors and messing around. And then these little guys came next. Actually, when I took a trip to Arizona to visit a friend, I wanted to bring this small art pad, so I brought this one. It's just a little eye, little hummingbird guy. And then those little studies ended up with this fellow looking so studious. I love that little blue hummingbird. He's like, kind of reminds me of a portrait or a cameo or something. I don't know, I never really thought about what he meant sort of like emotionally, but looking back, I think there's just a somber seriousness to him. Like, he's like, yeah, this is it. This is me. This is where I'm at. It's very simple, kind of almost like about acceptance. Looking at this, that's what I feel, is a lot of just willingness to accept. Okay, so from that, then came art related to darkness, of like light in the dark, or seeing through the dark to the light. And you can see this painting behind me. I had to take it down off the wall. It is hanging in my house. So this one, Hestia, you're in the way, honey, is an owl in the night sky with a rat or a mouse. So he's been able to catch the mouse through the night, and then it's got the phases of the moon, because I thought that was super cool. And this, interestingly, is a piece of art that I bought at Goodwill that was an Urban Outfitters art, and then I just like redid it and painted over it. So I kind of put my own colors and put the night sky and all this stuff. It was different before. Baby, I love you, but you need to go. Okay. So then, along the same lines, I started to take it digital. And this probably was where the birth of the creative idea to make the coloring book really started. But this was one of the first ones. Don't worry, I have night vision. I felt like here we are reflecting, trying to really trust and believe that all of this mess that we're dealing with is going to lead somewhere and we're gonna find our way through it. And I even wrote down here, I'm trying to trust that. Like, the reality was, I really was working through a lot of my own issues. This is the other one that I created around that time. By day and by night, light shines to guide my growth. Around the same time, I created this one, I'm never alone. Just really aiming to honor hope in the sense that, like, with these dandelion wishes and the roots, like, I hope that this is all gonna take me someplace really meaningful in the end. Okay, so then came the collage art. And the collage art, started with this one, actually. So the collage art started with this image, and this was titled, or not was, but is titled, I guess. This is titled My Sacred Self. And the goal here with the collage art was really just to express that despite having illness take over my body, there really still is a part of me that's beyond that and will always and forever be beyond that. And that was really the essence of that piece. Then I did this one, which this one was definitely a lot more charged emotionally. They're 2 feet. This one is all about radical acceptance. And it was really about accepting the fact that my body was different. I couldn't eat the same foods. The things that I wanted to do, I couldn't do. The things that I could do almost became points of resentment because that's all I could do, if that makes sense. I know that might sound kind of strange, but it was really about what can I do and how can I accept what I can do versus get caught up and frustrated and angry and envious of other people and fearful I'll never be able to regain things and getting just stuck in my suffering and my pain. So it was like I had these 2 feet, these 2 options planted here on earth. What am I gonna do? Okay. Then came this creativity and resilience collage. And I wrote a poem with this one, so I am going to read the poem. Dandelion. We grow by being vulnerable, both I, a human, and you, a plant. Whether tears or seeds, the release is relieving. Revealing our true nature again and again, the symbol of my golden shadow. Once again, this chronic illness has thwarted me into a hero's journey. On the edge of a precipice, I lean into the light, hoping for a guide, wishing for meaning and ability. In this vulnerable state, I am fragile. I feel fragmented. My wholeness is plucked quickly like a dandelion in a field. If I hold tight, the whole of the earth will come up. If I let go and feel my wholeness ripped away, it is painful. In my acceptance, I do not suffer. I shed tears as if the sunlight petals I once celebrated are being plucked. Momentarily, even my hope and the resulting wish is non-existent. I am empty, barren. What once wished for a perfect stasis of health now wishes for the ability to creatively endure this release and re-envisioning. I am dismantled. I acknowledge, I heal, I validate. Hi, honey. I heard Mr. Mate, referencing Gabor Mate, say vulnerability is our capacity to be wounded. And now that our capacity for vulnerability mirrors our capacity to heal. In this moment, I pause without wind. My past, present, and future self experiences the yoga of time. In this moment, I am whole, I heal. Then the wind blows. Mother Nature in her wisdom reminds me of my vulnerability. My golden flower, my golden shadow is willingly vulnerable. I am the queen of not giving up, resilient and creative, regenerative. So that was the dandelion art. Just even talking about it like totally stirs up a lot of those old feelings, which is why my kitty has come to visit, because she gives me so much love. Okay, and then you scoot over here. Then after that, I really started diving into the graphics more, because I just like sort of was having fun with it, and I really was feeling a lot of release and growth and healing and just enjoying the process. So I made this feet one, similar to the other, just a little bit different. There's nothing under there. Okay, you're crazy. Then, in honor of the struggle with having to accept there was a lot of tempting foods that really weren't working for my body anymore, I made this image. In this image, it says, I am capable of setting healthy boundaries with tempting foods. And you can see the ice cream cone is pralines and cream, because that's the flavor I like. Then I made this Once Upon a Flaw. Now light shines from my deepest wounds. Then I made this girl. I deserve my own love. Just really honoring the importance of self-care. And then the idea for the coloring book came. I woke up one day at 3 in the morning and I thought, I need to create a coloring book for adults to help them heal their relationship with food. And so I realized, oh my gosh, I've been doing all this creative work. I've been making this stuff. I can utilize this creative processing that comes so organically for me, that's just a part of my life, and combine it with the science and my skill and my knowledge as a dietitian, and synthesize that into an offering for the public, for people in the world. So that's what I did. So then we ended up with Surfing the Urge. And in fact, some of those same images you will find, maybe with a few edits or tweaks, in the book. So there's that one. And then there's this one. So these are some you will see. And then there's a lot of new images, of course, like, there's lots because I made more for the book. So you'll see when you buy it. But it's full of all sorts of really beautiful, encouraging imagery. I like this one a lot. I have potential. Just the simplicity and willingness to start being creative can yield so much. And that is what I invite you to do. Have a willingness to feel your feelings, to explore your whys, to explore your barriers, to explore what is causing you to remain resilient as it relates to food, cravings, food noise, and your relationship with food and yourself. So if that interests you, then definitely watch some of my other videos and buy a copy, and let's get to coloring and creating and healing together. Cool. Cha 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 cha. You're a little kitty. I love you. I love you.